Hello, it's me again, Chad, and this video is to introduce you to the assignments in Fundamentals of Leadership. So instead of, again, sitting in front of you face to face and explaining the assignments for 20 minutes or so, I'll give you a brief introduction here, and then we can use our face to face time for discussion, questions, things like that. So all of your assignments, they are located through the modules. So we have my uni here. They are located through the modules. So for example, your opening intensive, you need your individual case study is due on the 5th of September. So they will live in there. Some of them don't, and I'll explain why later. So for example, you'll see workshop 3, the peer feedback on sustainability essay is due, and things like that. Now, to look at your assignments overall, you go to the assignments tab, that's pretty obvious, and you'll see them all here like this. What I'll do is I'll close these and we'll start with this. So there's 3 parts. Best way to understand the assessment in this course is in 3 parts. The first part is around your individual case study and the case consultations that you'll be doing based on that case study. So there are 3 of those. The individual case study is here. Now that's due before this opening intensive. This is where it lives, the folder in which it lives, but you can also get to it via the assignment, and it's due on the 5th of September. Now an important note, when the assignment, so the assignment lives here, but also in modules under the intensive module. It's actually the same assignment. Okay, so don't worry, don't think that you have to submit it twice in every place. What happens is, this here is actually a link to the assignment. So the assignment lives over here, and this link is one link to it. In the module, I've got a link to it as well. If I want to send you an email or an announcement that tells you don't forget to submit your assignment, that will have a link to it as well. Okay, so that's the way my uni works. There's lots of different ways of getting to the same thing. You only have to submit to it in one place. That's an important conceptual thing about how the system works. So your case study is there. I showed you this in the My Uni introduction, but I'll do it again. The individual case study is here, and then you load individual case study in a new window. That will take you to Turnitin. And Turnitin is another completely different thing that we can talk about later in another way, but that's how you submit your assignments. Now, the second 2 assignments in this part are Consultation Report 1 and Consultation Report 2. Basically what happens is you submit your individual case study here, and then what happens is in the first intensive you'll be broken off into groups, and you'll then be doing group work on those case studies. So you'll be doing individual consultations where everybody will have a different role in that consultation. So everybody's case is the subject of discussion for a consultation session. And then what happens is you're given a number of roles. You may be given the role of the case presenter, in which it's your case study and you present it and you have discussion around that. Or you may have the role of what we call a balcony observer, in which you're observing the consultation that's happening on someone else's case. Now, you'll need to play that role twice in the whole thing. You'll need to arrange it in your groups so that everybody is a case presenter and a balcony observer on at least one case there. You'll then do a report on each of those. Okay, so you'll do a case presenter report when your case is being presented and under discussion. You'll also do a balcony observer report when that's presented and under discussion. Now, you and your group will need to figure out your schedule, your timetable schedule for all of your case consultations. A couple of things here. We strongly recommend that you do not set yourself to be the case presenter and the balcony observer in the same case presentation, in the same consultation, because actually what you want to do is you want to do the assignment and then get some feedback and then hopefully learn from it and do it again later. We also recommend that you give yourself a bit of time after each case presentation, so at least a week. Now there are some times throughout the workshops where we don't actually have a formal workshop on a Tuesday night, so we strongly recommend that you just set aside every Tuesday night until the end of the course, and then you can use those Tuesday nights when we don't have a formal workshop to do your case presentations. That's recommended. The other thing is that you'll need to hand in your reports when you're a case presenter or a balcony observer within 48 hours. of the consultation session. So that's because it needs to be quite fresh in your mind. If you probably will feel like putting it off. If you do put it off and procrastinate on that, the freshness of the thoughts and your reflections just aren't as good. And so I'll need that to be submitted within 48 hours of the case consultation. Now, consultation report 1 and 2, that's why there's no dates against these, right? Because you may be the case presenter in, week 2 or week 3, and the balcony observer in week 7, and the person next to you is week 4 and week 8 or whatever. So we don't have a set due date for these consultation reports. The way it works is whichever consultation report is your first one, so you may be the case presenter in the first consultation, that will be your consultation report 1. If you're the balcony observer in week 2, before you do your case presentation, that'll still be your consultation report 1. So the consultation report can be either a case presenter or a balcony observer. And the first one that you do, you submit into this Dropbox. The second one you do, you submit into this Dropbox. And you'll see this one is worth 5% of the marks, that one is worth 10% of the marks. So the idea is that you're still learning in the first one, it's a bit more formative. The second one's a little bit more summative and there's some more marks associated with it. So all of this overall is worth 15% of your overall grades. Now this is a bit complicated, I get that. And we'll talk about this quite a lot in the first intensive so that you have a really good idea of what's expected, how it's going. And actually doing this assignment itself is a bit of an adaptive challenge, so you'll be taking that on. But that's a brief introduction to how it works in my uni. The second part is about sustainability. So it's a much more kind of, I guess, traditional university assignment because it's an essay, right? So we have a sustainability essay here. You click on that. This is due later on in workshop 2. And here's the description of the essay. Okay, that's telling you what to do, the instructions there. An important thing is there's a rubric for this one. Okay, and we will have some rubrics for the cases as well, which will be available, before the first intensive. But there's a rubric for this one. Okay, so you can download that there. That is also loaded into Turnitin, and that's what I'll be using to mark your assignment quite directly. So if you want to know for this essay what I expect, it's really clearly outlined in that rubric. And then in a very technical fashion, that's aligned up to the learning objectives of the course. So the things I want you to learn in the course are linked to the criteria for assessment in this essay. So there's your essay. Okay, now that's a fairly standard university scholarly essay. If you have challenges around that, there's writing an essay or something like that. There's lots of help and support and some weekly videos, some study support videos on how to do things like that, how to do research, how to do referencing, how to create an argument, things like that. So there's plenty of support on that. Again, you click the sustainability essay in a new window, and that's where you submit that assignment. In addition to the sustainability essay, there's a peer feedback on sustainability essay. So what happens is you'll be given access to another student's sustainability essay, and you'll be like a marker for them. Okay, so you'll be giving peer feedback like an assessor and giving feedback to your peer on that essay. So this is in that realm of kind of an adaptive challenge of what happens when you have to be the expert or the authority on someone else's assignment. How do you assess it? And creating conversations, feedback conversations to help your learning and understand different ways of learning and more adaptive ways of learning as well. So that's part B. You've got an essay to write, and then you'll read someone else's essay and give them some feedback as if you're a marker. Then more towards the end of the course, there is final reports. There's 2 of these. Oh, come on, I'm trying to get that. Small button. Okay, so there's a group report and an individual report. So your final group report is a group written report. Okay, so as a group, you've done all of your case consultations through the course. Then you get together as a group and you express your group's learning. Okay, now this is an adaptive challenge as to how to write this group report. You're going to have to figure it out. It's probably somewhere you've never been before, in a system you've never been before with this group of people, and you're going to have to work that out. So the final group report is there, due much more towards the end of the semester. Okay, again, submitted via my uni. This final individual report is your own individual report, what you've learned out of the course. And you write that on your own, completely separately, in that way. That's basically how that works. We can talk about these a lot more as we get closer to the end of the course, and we might do some interesting adaptive work around purpose and the rubrics for these, the group report in particular. So that is basically the assessments for this course. No need to like remember everything right now. We'll talk about these at some length and give you time to, form your groups and come up with an approach to how you can do this and discuss purpose in the intensive and things like that. But key points here are go to assignments, go to assignments here. You've got your 3 parts, and they work in terms of case consultations, which is your individual case study and then your 2 reports from the consultations. You've got the sustainability, which is an essay and peer feedback on the essay, and then you've got your final reports, a group one and an individual one, to really encapsulate, summarize, and express your learning and the sense making that you've gone through throughout this course. So hopefully that's been clear. Maybe not. If not, we can work through that as well. So they're the assignments for this course. And if you've got any questions, as always, ask on the course discussion forum or flick me an email. Great. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the first intensive. Bye.